Shalom, y'all. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Kadash, which is the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in the Paleo-Hebrew tongue. I want to give you all a quick lesson called the Most High's Will for the Chosen. That's the Most High's will for the chosen. So we're going to start off in 1 Peter 4:18. It says, "And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?" So it says that the righteous are scarcely going to be saved, meaning the ones trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments are going to scarcely be saved, right? They're going to be saved with difficulty, right? Hardly be saved, scarcely be saved. We're going to be saved by the skin of our teeth, right? So it's saying only a few people are going to be saved, right? Let's go to verse 19. "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Yahweh commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator." So it says we have to suffer according to his will. And if we do, we're keeping our souls to him in well-doing. Meaning we keep our souls by doing his will and not our own. And we have to keep that in mind, that our will or what we want is nothing compared to what he has already planned for us, right? And we must believe that he is a faithful Creator and that his will is actually more important and more beneficial to us than what we want in our own will, right? Because only he knows what we truly need as opposed to what we actually want, right? And if we do so and we truly believe that, then we are believing that he is, like it says here, a faithful Creator. In other words, we give into his will and he will give us the kingdom, right? So now I'm going to go to Luke 22:42. It says, saying, "Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." So this is the Mashiach Yahweh Shai giving us advice, right? Saying, nevertheless, let not my will be done, but your will be done, right? So I tell this to people all the time when you're praying, especially, and you're asking for things or situations or people or things to go right. You always need to make sure that you say, if it's your will, right? If it's the Most High's, if it's your will, Yahweh, let it be done, right? Because some things, some jobs, some achievements we want, cars, houses, situations, even people, right, just aren't for us. So true faith is accepting that and realizing that it's actually more beneficial to us if we just accept the Most High's will over our own will in those type of situations, right? This is where your trust in our Abba and our Father will really be tested, because it's easy to trust him or say you trust him when everything's going according to your plan. But when he blocks or changes your plan, that's where your faith and your trust in him is really, truly tested, right? Which brings us to our next our next verse, going to be Proverbs 3:5. It says, "Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." So you have to trust in Yahweh with all your heart, which your heart is your mind, according to the scriptures, right? According to Proverbs 23:7, it says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," right? So you have to trust the Most High and lean not on your own understanding. So when you don't understand why the Most High isn't allowing your own plan to play out, that's when you have to trust in his plan with all your heart and all your mind, right? And not in your own plan. So let's go to verse 6. It says, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." So in everything we do, everything we get into, every situation, every temptation, anything you get into, we're supposed to be acknowledging him, praying to him, hearing his voice, which, how do we hear his voice? But through his words, right? And he will direct our paths. So a lot of times he directs our paths away from what we see, or from what we see as our path, right? From what we want to be our path. So let's go to verse 7. "Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil." So like I said before, Many times he leads us away from what we see that our path should be, right? Which is why it says, be not wise in thine own eyes. Because again, the Most High sees what we truly need physically and spiritually. And like it says in the scriptures, his ways are higher than our ways. So when he leads us leads us to a path that goes against what we see in our own eyes, we can't be wise in our own eyes, right? We got to trust in his path, right? And in the end, it's going to turn out righteous. It's going to turn out good as long as we give in to his path, right? So that's going to bring us to Romans. I'm going to start on 8:28. So it says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh, right? To them who are called according to his purpose, right? According to his purpose, according to his plan. So we know no matter how good or bad something may seem at first, it's all going to work out for good. Like it says right here, right? It says all things work together for good. All things are going to work together for good to them who love the Most High, which is keeping his commandments, according to 1 John 5:3. And also, though, you have to be called according to his purpose, right? Sometimes people trying to do the right thing and it still doesn't turn out good for them. Why? Because they weren't called according to his purpose, right? So if you really know the scriptures, you know that many are called, but few are chosen. And only for those that are truly chosen are things going to work out good for in the end, right? So let's go to verse 29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son. What is the image of his Son? Following the law, statutes, and commandments, right? The only one that fulfilled them and lived sinless. That he might be the firstborn among many brethren, right? So it says that for whom he did foreknow, he did predestinate, right? So those that he predestinated or put in their destiny, those are the ones that are going to be following or be able to follow and conform to fit his word, which his Son, what is his Son's, one of his nicknames? It's the word, right? So only those that were predestined and those that were called and foreknew by the Most High since the very beginning, only if you are chosen are you going to be able to follow the law, statutes, and commandments and his word, right? Plain and simple. If you weren't called to do it, it's just not going to happen, right? You can't live contrary to the Most High's will. So let's go to verse 30. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, there's that word again, right? Them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified, right? So those he predestinated, he called, and those who called, he justified. Meaning, if you are chosen to live out this word, the Most High has made you just. In the end, you're going to be just. You're going to be justified because he called you to do this, right? And he will give you the ability to follow his word and make it to the kingdom no matter what, because he called you. He predestinated you, right? And whom he justified, them he also glorified. So we will be glorified in the kingdom when we get those immortal bodies, right? If he predestinated you and if he called you, right? So now we're going to go to 2 Peter 1:10. It says, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence, right? Give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fail, right? So if the Most High has put it in your heart, put it in your mind that you may be one of the chosen, or that you are chosen, you have to be diligent, right? You have to make, like it says right here, you have to make your calling and election sure, right? That means give all your effort, be diligent, make haste, all your effort to do what you know that you have to do, to follow the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? To follow every word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai to the best of your ability, right? And always put his will and his word over your own will. For if you do these things, like it says, you shall never fall, right? Salaki, I think I said fail earlier. Ye shall never fall, right? So like it says in Matthew 22:14, many are called, but few are chosen. So don't let anyone or anything try to get in the way from your calling, right? So all praise to the Most High, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, y'all have a good one.